No.
Yeah, it's coming.
Get that.
Coming.
Talking about last week.
All right. So do you have the actual? Sorry, the text.
I've got some old texts. Must bring them back.
Sure,
One anyway.
Should be okay.
Yeah, I'll bring it back.
Thank you. We are Kuf Samach Vav, Midrash, chapter 11, number 7.
Thank you.
Rabbi Yochanan b'Shem Rabbi Yossi. Or as it's pointed here, Yosei.
Samach.
Kuf Samach Vav. Yes, Jose. Yes, it is definitely Rabbi Jose.
Yes, good Samach.
Am I doing the reading today?
We volunteered you. Yes.
So just to
Come in, welcome.
just to recap, this part is the
Yeah, this is a commentary.
commentary.
Largely drawn from classical rabbinic commentaries on Midrash. So there is a classic edition of what's called the Vilna Midrash, because it was first printed in Vilna, and it has the Maharsha and the Maharil, not to be confused with the Maharal, who are the sort of the two major commentators who usually commentate by showing where these ideas appear elsewhere in rabbinic sources. This commentary is also, I particularly like it because it just translates all the Aramaic into Hebrew. So you can actually follow an Aramaic sentence along and see the Hebrew directly with it, which makes it, I think, very, very easy for me. And the other thing that is just interesting about the page is this Masorah Midrash, which is the here, which will tell you where something like this appears elsewhere in rabbinic literature.
Right. So in all copies of the Midrash
No,
would have these as well.
no. This commentary is unique to this edition called Midrash Mavo'ah, and I like it a lot. There are other copies of the. You've got this. There's an art scroll comment version of it.
So
There's all kinds of.
different.
This is modern. This is designed to allow people whose Aramaic skills might be not quite as strong as they should be. It's quite a full commentary. I suspect it's been inspired by a famous contemporary commentary on the Mishnah called the Kahati commentary by this. Actually, apparently he was a bank clerk, but you can see it's almost exactly the same. So square letters with all the dats, with all the doshes, dats and doshes. Let me try that one more time. And when it gets written out here, it's written in a flowing sentence. You can actually kind of read it as a flowing sentence. I don't usually read it unless I'm kind of particularly interested in a particular idea, because it just takes. There's 4 times as much language in the commentary than there is in the actual text. Traditional rabbinic commentaries, by which I mean specifically rabbinic commentaries that predate the invention of the printing press, are always brief. Why?
You had to write them out.
Because you have to write them out by hand. So Rashi is very, very parsimonious, very brief. Rabbinic commentaries that postdate the invention of the printing press, and the first example of that is Tosafot, are much longer, because there just isn't the same pressure on having to write stuff out.
But not until we got computers did we make them really long.
Nowadays,
It goes on
so
forever.
nowadays a PhD dissertation, the classic PhD dissertation in Talmud, is a chapter of the Talmud, which could be, 20 pages of Talmud, and that's a PhD dissertation's worth of material. And when they set it all out, with every source. So you read the thing down the page like this, and every variant text is also read down the page, and literally, 4 lines of a brief little interchange can take up sort of 8 or 9 pages just to sort of set out in this sort of tabular form. That's Shama Freeman's style of study of the Talmud. He's the leading.
So the Rashi, Rashi commentary on the Midrash
Rashi never systematically went through the entire midrash,
So I mean,
but very often, and actually there is an example, I think, even on this page. Where are we? Here we go. Yeah, I mean, can you kind of see here? So can you see where Shnei Amar is in bold print about sort of 3/4 of the way down? It says so Shnei Amar colon, and then it opens up a direct speech Vav Hey Chupchik. Yeah, underneath the line underneath that, it says there, Eretz Zot Lot Yotet, and there's a bracket which says Rashi on where this text also appears in Masachet Shabbat Kuf Yud Hey. So you've sometimes got what Rashi explained on that particular idea, but using the Rashi commentary from the Talmud, where the same or parallel material appears in the Talmud and also appears in the Midrash. Are we ready? Let's leap in. Amar Rabbi Yochanan, b'shem Rabbi Yossi bar Chalafta, Amar Avraham, she'ein katuv bo shemirat Shabbat, Yorash et ha'olam b'midah. So Rabbi Yochanan, in the name of Rabbi Yossi, the son of Chalafta, said, Abraham, about whom it is not written that he observed Shabbat. Why, of course, should he observe Shabbat? Shabbat hasn't been given by this time. Yorash et ha'olam, inherited the world b'midah. Do you know the word midah? You might have heard it in the context of midah keneged midah.
As it was.
Kamidah sha'atam moded kach modedim oto. And it means literally a measure. So measure for measure. Pharaoh drowned the boys in the water. Midah keneged midah. The first of the plagues is the Nile goes blood red. The last of the plagues is that he loses his son, and then he is destroyed by the water. So there's a very strong thing that if you do something bad, you get judged back in the same way in which you had been done. But midah literally means with a measure. So Abraham inherits the world b'midah, but only a measured out portion of the world. He doesn't get all the world. As it says about Abraham, we'll see the verses. Do you still have the handout from last week?
No,
So
you
that's
took
the
them back.
yeah. So let's just pass those back out. That's the handout from last week, which, if you're following on Periscope, I didn't resend out by email. But we're on the other side, on the rear side of that. Sorry, I've got it here. It says about Abraham, Kum hitalech ba'aretz, go around the land. So this is the land of Canaan, right? Its broadness and its wideness, Tzvana v'nekba, right? North and south. So Abraham gets only ha'aretz. He only gets the land. He doesn't get ha'olam. Why does Abraham not get ha'olam? Because he wasn't Shemirat Shabbat. If he had only been Shemirat Shabbat, he would have Yereshit ha'olam lo b'midah, without any kind of restriction.
Teaching to pay attention.
Now teaching to pay attention.
Kazakh language, the ancient Hebrew language, Mida means growing. I'm growing.
Lovely.
So increasing.
So Yaakov, Shekatuv bo Shemirat Shabbat, Jacob, about whom it is written that Jacob kept Shabbat. Let me skip the proof text for a second. I'm skipping down now to the penultimate line of that little paragraph in the middle. Yerashet ha'olam shelo b'midah. He inherited the world without a midah. As it says, and Shne'emar, v'haya z'arecha ka'afar ha'aretz. So that's from Genesis 28. And Genesis 28, you can see, and I've given you this, v'haya z'arecha ka'afar ha'aretz. Your dust shall be as the dust of the earth, and it shall ufatzta yama v'kedmat safona v'negba, and it should stretch out in all directions. And through your seed shall all the families of earth be judged. In other words, Jacob gets the entire world.
Isn't there a text though that says that the patriarchs, plural, kept all of the laws
Yeah,
of the
plenty.
Torah before they were given.
Plenty.
So doesn't that include Abraham? I
Yeah.
mean,
I mean, you're right. You're right. So, the one of the big things that happens rabbinically is that rabbinic things that aren't clear from the letters of the Torah itself get anachronistically put back onto pre-Sinai biblical figures. Right, so Jacob went to the yeshiva. That's quite a famous one. So Jacob and Esau are struggling in the belly of their mother, and when Rebecca goes past a yeshiva, Jacob wants to get out. What are they teaching in the yeshiva? They're teaching the laws of Shabbos. But we'll see this in just a second. You think I'm, but and the other classic one that Abraham kept Shabbos. How do you know that Abraham kept Shabbos? When the three angels come to visit him to prophesy the coming of Isaac, he serves to them whey and a goat, a calf, a sheep or something, some kind of meat, proving that he kept Shabbat because he served them the whey before the milk, before he served them the meat. He didn't serve them the meat before he served them the milk. That's a classic midrashic tour de force, because it drops the thing that it's really trying to do, its heavy work of making you believe that Abraham kept Shabbat, in, and says, because you know that he kept Shabbat, therefore you can see how firm he was, and that it moves it's like a magician who's busy kind of doing their trick over here by making you kind of focus on what's going on over here, so you miss the kind of the little humph that's been done. And we'll see this again here. This is actually really quite an extreme midrash. So far we've seen that Abraham didn't keep Shabbat, or rather there is nowhere that it says that Abraham kept Shabbat, so let's assume that he didn't, and therefore he only got Haaretz. But Jacob, who did keep Shabbat, got Kol Ha'adama, Kol Mishpachot Ha'adama, all the families of the world, or the earth. So all we need to do now is have a look at the proof text that says that Jacob kept Shabbos. Yeah, you with me? So let's just go back into this. Can you see it? Aval Yaakov shekatuv bo shmirat Shabbat, but Jacob, about whom it is written, katuv, that he was shmirat Shabbat, shnema, here's the biblical verse, vayachan et panei ha'ir. Jacob came in peace to the city of Shechem, which is in the land of Canaan, when he came from Padan Aram, and he encamped before the city. How do you know that that's Jacob keeping Shabbos?
Because he didn't break the boundary.
Brilliant, right? Yes. I mean, completely perfect rabbinic answer. This clearly proves that Jacob kept Shabbos, because nichnes im dimdume chama. Dum? What's dum?
Blood.
Yeah, dimdume. What's dimdume chama? What's chama? What's the ultimately chum thing in our solar system?
The sun.
Yeah, right. With the reddening, right, dum, blood, right. With the reddening of the sun, it's sunset. So what does he do? He kavad tchum mi ba'od. He sets his Shabbat tchum, his Shabbat area, right? You're not supposed to go outside a certain area on Shabbat. You're supposed to
Yeah, but how do
stay
we know it was
put.
Shabbat? How do we know it's Shabbat?
Yeah.
When he camped it?
Yes.
He could have gone straight to Shechem.
Yeah, you are failing to understand the way that this is so abundantly clearly happening. Dafka at sunset and Dafka on Friday.
Because they say so.
Yeah. So I mean, it's hocus pocus. Yeah. That because it's so obvious that Jacob kept Shabbat, that's why he got Kol Mishpachot Hadamah. I mean, I like the idea that they're showing that the Yerusha, the inheritance of Abraham, is greater than the inheritance of Jacob. So therefore, there must be a reason for it. What reason could there possibly be? It must be that Abraham didn't keep Shabbat and that Jacob did keep Shabbat. Quite dangerous, Jen, you're absolutely right. It's very rare that you would get a biblical figure exposed as not, a patriarch exposed as not being Shmirat Torah Mitzvot, the 613 commandments. But it's quite a smart midrash. It's a little too forced for me to be entirely happy, but I do think it's quite cute.
He also married his sister, which would not have been allowed later, would it?
Right.
So, I mean,
Well, he called the woman that he was married to.
He wasn't a perfect character, but he means.
No, it was his first
No, no.
cousin.
It's his sister. It says.
Sarah. Sorry, Jacob or
Abraham.
Abraham.
Yeah.
no?
It's his cousin.
It's his cousin.
Sarah is his cousin.
He calls her my sister,
Yeah.
but that's later. All right, not getting. We'll get to all of that. We'll get to all of that.
Incest as well.
No, I don't think that's correct. Okay, so that is the blessing of Shabbat. You keep Shabbat, you are Yoreshet Kolo Olam Blomida. You get the whole world without any restriction whatsoever. Milton, do you want to have a go at this next bit?
דבר אחר, למה ברכו רבי...
Okay, so it says that God blessed Shabbat. Yeah, so what's our proof? This Vayiberach Elohim et Yom HaShavi v'Kiddush. So that God blessed the Sabbath day and sanctified it. Lama beracho. Why did He bless it?
רבי ברכיה
Mm-hmm.
ורבי...
Who you suspect is probably an expert on?
Shabbat.
No.
Oh, bless you.
Yeah. Good.
ורבי דוסטאי ורבי שמואל בר נחמן.
I used to live on Rehov Dostai in Jerusalem, so I feel warmly towards any Rabbi Dostai mention.
רבי דוסטאי אומרים שאין לו בן זוג.
Pause. Right, the poor old. Why did God bless Shabbos? Because poor old Shabbos didn't get a Ben Zug. What's a Ben Zug?
son zug?
Zug. A son pair. Sonpair. Or he didn't get a mate. Ben Zug or Bat Zug, right? You know, poor old Shabbos. Why did God bless Shabbos? Who, by the way, is here being articulated in the feminine, which we know. Those of you who are into your Kabbalistic stuff, Shekhinah, Shabbat, the feminine presence of God, all that kind of stuff, right? So Shabbos didn't get a Ben Zug, didn't get a
Which
partner.
day did get a Ben Zug?
Okay, let's do this.
חד בשבתה תרי תלסה.
Tare, pause. Okay, do you want? I mean, we were talking about the commentary. This will be easy if we just find it with the commentary. Can you see where we are in the commentary, Milton? So the beginning of the line, halfway through that kind of the paragraph that begins with a chet, you have chad b'shabta. Yeah, chad b'shabta translates into Hebrew,
Yeah.
Yeah.
חד בשבת.
also known as
Ben
Yom Echad.
The first day.
Yeah, so Sunday, Ben Zugo,
Oh,
its Ben Zug is Tare, which is now which we have now the commentary tells us that Tare is
Monday.
Sheni b'Shabbat. So you know Tare Sheni, right? That's quite you know you'll get used to that in sorry, actually we're going to need this again. That Taf in Aramaic is Shin in Hebrew. Matnitin is Mishnah. Yeah, matna is Mishnah. So Tare is Shari, but so Sunday's Ben Zug is Monday. Keep going with the Aramaic. Two more words.
תלמה.
Talta,
תלתה. שלוש בשבת.
right? It gets married to
ארבעתה.
which is
The fourth day.
yeah Arba, right? Chad, Shtam, Shalosh, Arba.
רביעי בשבת.
Right, fourth of Shabbos. So Sunday gets Monday, Tuesday gets Wednesday,
חמישי בשבת בן גזול ערבתה.
Aruvta
ערב
is
שבת.
Erev Shabbat. Okay,
Friday.
and Friday. So everybody gets a Ben Zug. Let's just go back to the Aramaic.
And what are these pairings founded on, though? Why do they?
True love.
Yeah, I mean, why do they? Why do they
Why
pair
do
one?
they?
Like
Well, I mean, it's interesting,
Sunday
right?
or
So
Wednesday,
okay. So back into the commentary. V'chol shnaim shehem zug habracha mitsui beineihem keish ve'ishto. That you know, so there is this kind of biblical sense that the blessing comes in married life. You'll probably in ben zug, bat zug, joiny, inny stuff for those of us fortunate enough, and it is a tricky one, I understand fully, you've been able to find such a thing in one's life.
It depends
But
where you start. Sunday has Monday. You could have said Saturday has Sunday.
yeah, well, sort of. I mean,
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
no,
you know,
that's
well,
the
you can
first.
see. Well, the question,
Yeah.
the question
You're
is,
not the
the
first.
question is where they're
Why-
going. Does anyone know where they're going? Who does Shabbos end up marrying?
The Shekhinah.
No,
No?
God.
no.
The community of Israel.
Yeah, very good. You've heard this before.
What,
Yeah.
the what?
Yeah.
The people of Israel.
The community of Israel.
Yeah. Shabbos
But
gets.
it's all like that in the Song of Solomon, isn't it? So Shir Shirim, it's sort of the lovers. Who are the lovers in the Shir Shirim?
That's-
Jane, you are
that's God.
you are
That's God in Israel.
deeply you are deeply infused by rabbinics today. You got a full plug-in.
But that's
I mean-
God, that's
Oi.
God in Israel.
I guess the answer to that question is simply yes, right? Which is it's erotic interhuman love poetry, but erotic interhuman love poetry contains within itself the relationship between God and Israel, from as early as we can get back to. But you know, it is tricky. But I mean, if you read the Shir Shirim thinking that it is an allegory, then you see the allegory of it everywhere. If you read it, if you were to just sort of find it, I don't know, you know, in a pile of documents in the Geniza and not know anything about, you know, the Bible, you would just decide that it was, you know, a whole, you know, it's just erotic love poetry. Sorry, would you mind just pulling the two windows too? Sorry. Yeah. So right. Shabbat late la ben zug. Shabbos doesn't have a ben zug. Oh, poor Shabbos. Okay, this next bit is going to take us a while.
Shabbat. Is it not the presence of the male aspect and female aspect of God for the children of the community of the children of Israel to enjoy on that day?
I mean, it is interesting because Shabbat here is being articulated as a feminine, but Knesset Yisrael is also articulated as a feminine. So it's traditionally that Kodesh Baruch Hu is the masculine for Knesset Yisrael, which is the feminine. This is all getting into worlds of Kabbalah. Let's pull up and do some
That's for another day.
maths. Go for it, Milton.
Chad b'Shabta Tarei.
Oh, Rabbi Shmuel.
Rob Shmuel.
Sorry?
Rabbi Shmuel. Bar Nachman.
Oh, sorry. We moved on. Where was I? Rabbi Shmuel bar Nachman אמר שאינו נדחה, יום טוב נדחה, יום הכיפורים נדחה, שבת אינה נדחיית.
Nidchet. Okay.
נדחית.
So let's work this one out. Doche Shabbat. Have you heard about that? Pikuach nefesh. Dochet Shabbat. Yeah, saving a life.
You can ignore Shabbat.
Pushes off Shabbat, right?
Pushes off.
Doche means moves it off. Yeah,
Suspends it.
suspends it. Or put, but yeah, let's stick with pushing it off because that's literally what it means. So the Shabbos is never pushed off. What sorts of things happen in Judaism? Yom Tov is ninche. Yom Tov will get pushed around. Yom Kippur gets pushed around. Shabbat is never pushed around. Okay, let's drop down to the commentary on this.
Because the others are dependent on the moon, and you move it around to adjust it.
Not just that.
And they also put it off if it comes on the wrong day.
Good.
Yeah,
Good.
No, Yom Kippur's never put off, is it?
Yes.
No, incorrect, Brian.
Yeah. You won't
Brace
have it-
yourself.
Never have it on a Sunday because you can't prepare for 2 days Yom Tov. Can't
And?
before you show us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get there. All right. So let's do it in the text. So can you see where I am? Nidche. So I'm now in the penultimate paragraph, 3 lines down in the middle of the paragraph, where it says Nidche. Sorry, Jen. No, so I'm in the commentary.
Oh, in the commentary.
Yeah. So
Right.
the third. So the penultimate paragraph.
Yes, yes.
3 lines down, about
Yes.
6 words in. Nidche.
Yes.
4 words in. Nidche. Shehalu talui b'yamei chodesh. So Rosh Chodoshim kov'in lefi cheshbon shel dechiat. So Rosh Chodesh you set by a matter of pushing various things on. Sorry, hang on. Let me. I was picked up at the wrong place. Apologies. Can you go up to the second line of that paragraph where it says Yom Tov, right? Yom Tov shel Rosh Hashanah, v'shel shalosh regalim ninche. So Rosh Hashanah, the three pilgrim festivals are ninche. Shehu talui b'yamei chodesh, because they are dependent on the day of the week, right? So it's the 14th of the month. The 14th of the month might fall on a Monday, might fall on a Tuesday, might fall on a V'roshei Chodeshim kovin lefi. Right. Moving on. Shelo yikba Rosh Hashanah b'yamei Aleph, Dalid, or Vav. So Rosh Hashanah is fixed so that it does not fall on Sundays, on Thursdays. Thursdays. Dalid is Wednesday. Wednesday. It's not allowed to fall on Sunday, Wednesday, or Friday. And Pesach is not allowed to fall on Bet, Dalid, or Vav. Monday, Wednesday, or Friday. And Shavuot is not allowed to fall on Gimel, Hay, and Zion on Tuesday, Thursday, or Saturday. And Sukkot is not allowed to fall on Sunday, Wednesday, or Friday. Va'afilo Yom Kippurim, and even Yom Kippurim, HaChamor, the strict one, is Ninche. Because Rosh Chodeshim Kovu B'Cheshbon, because Rosh Chodesh is fixed in such a way, Shelo Yikva Yom Kippurim, B'Yemei Aleph, Gimel, and Vav, that Yom Kippur is not allowed to fall on Sunday, Tuesday, or Friday. Amor B'Gemara, as it says in the Gemara, Rosh Hashanah 20, page Hay. Alright, let's work all this out. Yeah. I apologise for the scrawliness of this. I spent longer on these 2 lines preparing than I did in anything else. Okay, here we go. Rosh Hashanah is not allowed to fall on the 1st day of the week, on the 4th day of the week, or the 6th day of the week, right? If Rosh Hashanah falls on the 4th day of the week, then Yom Kippur, which is the 10th of Tishrei, falls on the 6th day of the week, which is Friday. And the problem with Yom Kippur falling on Friday is that
you've got a fast immediately in front of Shabbos.
You can't get ready for Shabbos.
Yeah.
Can't get ready for Shabbos. Yeah? If Rosh Hashanah fell on the 6th day of the week, then Yom Kippur would fall on Sunday. And the problem with Yom Kippur falling on Sunday is...
You can't have Kol Nidre.
Very good,
Yes.
right?
On Shabbos.
You can't have Kol Nidre on Shabbos. You also can't get ready for the fast on Shabbos, right? It's just too difficult, right? So Rosh Hashanah is not allowed to fall on 4th or 6th, because those would mean that Yom Kippur would fall on 6th or 1st, and Yom Kippur can't fall on 6th or 1st. Now, we also heard that Rosh Hashanah can't fall on Aleph, that Rosh Hashanah can't fall on the 1st of the month, the 1st of the week. If Rosh Hashanah falls on the 1st of the week, then Yom Kippur would fall on the 3rd of the week. That doesn't strike me as a particular problem. The problem for the reason why Rosh Hashanah is not allowed to fall on Aleph on the 1st of the week is that if it fell on Aleph, then Hoshana Rabbah would fall on Shabbos. And you can't have Hoshana Rabbah falling on Shabbos because there is such interference with the celestial spheres that is required as you smack your willows, that therefore you just couldn't have Rosh Hashanah.
And they might be worried that people might carry these in the public space, their willows or whatever.
Right. Hoshana Rabbah is not allowed to fall on Shabbos. I have to say, I also think, I mean, that's what the Gemara says. It also occurred to me that if Rosh Hashanah is on the first of the week, then Sukkot is also on Sunday, right? Because it's 2 weeks. Sukkot is the same day of the week as Rosh Hashanah, yeah. And if Sukkot falls on the first day of the week, then Erev Sukkot falls on Shabbos, and you can't cut your willows. So maybe you don't have beautiful, you don't have nice stuff, and maybe you might be tempted to build your sukkah on Shabbos if your sukkah wasn't built, in time. So maybe that's also kicking around there. But the reason that's given in the Gemara is that Hoshana Rabbah is not allowed to fall on Saturday, right? So if Rosh Hashanah was on the first day of the week, then Erev Sukkot would be on Shabbos, and you can't have Erev Sukkot on Shabbos, I think.
So were these dates worked out, a long time ago for all time, or are they worked out fresh every few years?
Great question.
Who knows what's going to happen in 3,000 years' time?
Me. I can just look it up.
Yeah.
It used to be that people would spot the moon, right? And there would be 5 or 6 times in the year when the moon would need to be spotted, and then things would get locked in, right? You don't bother spotting the moon on Rosh Hashanah because it's too late, but you would spot the moon at the beginning of Elul, and you would then work out when Rosh Hashanah would fall, and you would announce. It's not like, it's fascinating. I was talking to someone who was fasting on Ramadan, and I said to them, "When's Eid?" And they said, it's either Sunday or Monday. And they only know when the moon at the end of Ramadan is spotted. We don't do that. That wasn't done in Judaism. That you would lock in, you would announce Elul, and then once you announced Elul, you would lock in Rosh Hashanah, because sometimes you would also have to sort of bend Rosh Hashanah. That's why we have 2 days of some Rosh Chodeshes, which allow us to kind of flip when the 14th falls. Yes.
So how
right. Sorry. Yeah. After the
it?
destruction of the temple, in the time of Hillel the younger, so not Hillel and Shammai Hillel, but the Hillel who was around after the destruction of the temple, they fixed tables to work it all out. Because they knew enough about the circling of the moon and the stars around, the moon around the planet and the planet around the sun, that they could actually lock the whole thing in, and they built in all of this into the system. And I now have on my computer when I was growing up, you would have these massive tables, incredibly complicated, these books about this thick of just tables and tables and tables, and every year going on, way off into the future. Now I have a little
so it's
software
sufficiently
program.
locked in to know that in 5,000 years' time that Rosh Hashanah will fall on a particular day.
Yes.
And that was worked out.
Well, the computer program, I guess, is contemporary, but the people stopped looking at the moon, and they just did it from their knowledge
they
of
learned about this physics.
When actually, we know this from other civilizations, in Mexico and in Iran and in India, people got really interested in working out the movement of the mazalot, because people felt this stuff was really important, and it turned out that in ancient times people were able to calculate this stuff with an extraordinary degree of technical brilliance. It's really quite extraordinary.
It was written down in it was established in time of Hillel.
Yeah. To be honest, there used to be huge rows. There's a very famous row that's reported in Rosh Hashanah when Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel commands Rabbi Yeshua to come before him with his staff in his hand and his purse with gold in his hand on the day that Rabbi Yeshua says is Yom Kippur, that Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel says isn't Yom Kippur, and actually as a result of this, the whole Gamlielian dynasty kind of devolves. There's another huge row between Sadi Gaon and the Gaonic and the rabbinic leadership in Eretz Yisrael at the time, which resulted in the supremacy of Babylonian rabbinic leadership over Palestinian rabbinic leadership. That's after the conclusion of the Talmuds. So this stuff was massively.
It's the equivalent of scientists arguing whether global warming really is taking place and why. But they're different on the science, I suppose.
Because if you don't know when it's Rosh Hashanah, it was felt to be of cosmic significance. That if you don't turn up on the right day, there's all kinds of things that you didn't have to do. When you would have the leap years was not fixed. Now all that's fixed as well. There's a really interesting midrash that says that when the Bet Din came to perform this kind of calendrical kind of working out stuff, God would manifest God's presence in amongst them in this sort of unique way, bringing God's presence to bear, just as, using this word simsum, just as God brought God's presence in between the kruvim, the cherubs on top of the ark in the time of the temple itself. So it's a big deal. Yeah.
Just to add to
Yeah,
what
yeah.
you said, I always thank God that my grandma was very medieval. She didn't have any Western education, so
Able
she
to
talks
work
like
with the
that. So
sound.
we do
It's
understand.
fantastic.
Anytime you talk to us, it's only my mom who went to what you call bat mitzvah, 12 years. You have to start from 6.
Yeah, wait, sorry, hang on, wait. That
is what helped.
helps you calculate the
that's
times. Amazing. So
Amazing,
let's do
because it didn't
okay.
help
Let's
us
so
anyway.
so that's how Rosh Hashanah isn't allowed to fall. Next, Pesach, right? Those of you who are remembering this, I had to work all this out, so you're going to have to kind of come along with me, right? So Pesach is not allowed to fall on the 2nd, the 4th, or the 6th. Now, if Pesach falls on the 6th, oh, hang on, let me say it. Sorry, come down to the bottom. There is an utbash. I'm on my piece of paper here. Sorry. There's an utbash that I can share with you. It turns out that the first day of Pesach falls on the same day of the week as the Moed Tuf. What's the Moed? Tuf, Tisha B'Av. It turns out, and this is the obvious one, that the second day of Pesach falls on the same day of the week as the penultimate letter Moed, Shin, so Kufre Shin Tuf. So that's Shavuot. Well, we know that, right? Because it's 7 weeks after. Shavuot is 7 weeks after Pesach. It also turns out that the third day of Pesach falls on the, what's the day before penultimate?
Pre-penultimate.
Pre-penultimate letter, Moed letter. So if the, right, so the beginning of the Aleph Bet Gimel corresponds to Taf Shin Resh. So the way that you call that is Ut Bash. Yeah, can you see that? Ut Bash. Sometimes you'll see that in poetic forms, but this is the most famous Ut Bash. So the third day of the week is the same day as Rosh Hashanah. Yeah, so that once you've locked in Rosh Hashanah, and then you have, once you've locked in Pesach, once you've locked in Rosh Hashanah, once you've locked in Pesach, you've also set Rosh Hashanah. So in every year, you've got a chance between Rosh Hashanah and Pesach to kind of do your kind of juggling around, but then you are stuck. So the reason why Pesach can't fall on the 6th day of the week is that if Pesach fell on the 6th day of the week, then the third day of Pesach would be the first day of the week, right? So first day is 6th, second day is 7th, third day is 1st. And that would mean that Rosh Hashanah would be on the first day of the week. If Rosh Hashanah was on the first day of the week, that would mean that Hashanah Rabba would be on the 7th day of the week, and you can't have Hashanah Rabba on the 7th day of the week. If Pesach fell on the 4th day of the week, then Rosh Hashanah would fall on the 6th day of the week. If Rosh Hashanah fell on the 6th day of the week, then Yom Kippur would fall on the 1st day of the week, and you can't have Yom Kippur on the 1st day of the week. And if Pesach fell on the 2nd day of the week, then the 3rd day of Pesach would be the 4th day of the week, so Rosh Hashanah would be on the 4th day of the week, and if Rosh Hashanah was on the 4th day of the week, Yom Kippur would be on the 6th day of the week, and you can't have Yom Kippur on the 6th day of the week. Now, if Pesach falls on the 2nd day of the week, then Shavuot was the 3rd day of the week. If Pesach was the 4th day of the week, then Shavuot was the 5th day of the week. And if Pesach was the 6th day of the week, then Shavuot would be the 7th day of the week. So Shavuot is not allowed to fall on the 3rd or the 5th or the 7th. I hope that is all clear. Are you prepared to trust me on Sukkot? I didn't need to draw that out. So, goodness Lester isn't here. Right, so the point of all this is that God blessed the Shabbos and said, Shabbos, you ain't being nidche. You're not being pushed around. Whatever happens, it's, Shabbos is always going to be Shabbos. Every other moed will get moved around.
First day of the week never gets moved around.
Yeah, but it's not moed. First day of the week isn't moed.
No.
I mean, you are right that Shabbat is qualitatively different, because Shabbat.
So,
I mean, the interesting thing about Shabbat is that to me, is Shabbat has no astrological corollary, right? So the year is the time that the Earth takes to go around the sun. The month is the time that the moon goes around the Earth. The Moed Pesach is always early spring. Shavuot, just before the middle of summer. Sukkot, the end of the harvest season. Everything has a corollary, but Hanukkah and Purim and everything else, but Shabbat doesn't. So it is kind of interesting that it is fixed by dint of its observance.
In a sense, it's arbitrary.
Yes.
Because you don't. I mean, it's the 7th day of the week, but from when?
Yes.
When do you start counting?
Yes.
It could be any day of the week.
Yes. I mean, in some ways, it is the thread of Yiddishkeit through millennia that preserves the fact that it will be Shabbat in whatever it is, 4 days' time, and not 3 and not 5. I hope I got that right.
imagine if someone proves they started counting on the wrong day with all the other place.
They'll be in trouble.
You'd be miserable.
no, even they count set the day the same way.
I mean, there's halacha on
We
this,
have-
right? I
Yeah.
mean, you're on a desert island. You get washed up by
That's right, yes.
a boat, and and you've been in a
Yeah,
coma, and you wake up. When do you start observing Shabbos? You could probably, I mean, if you were in the northern hemisphere, you could probably work out most things, but you'd be hard pushed to work out how to do Shabbos.
You couldn't. You can't. If you've been in a coma and you wake up and you don't know what day it is to start with, there's no way you can choose which is the first day of the week, because it doesn't have any. It's a circle. It's just
Then you choose.
Maybe you would keep them all. You keep the whole week of Shabbos.
That would
Well,
ruin-
but then you have a
that would
problem,
ruin-
because Sheshit Yamim Tov is Kol Malachtecha, right? It's an obligation to work for 6 days a week, right? That's not an
It's a perfect
option.
excuse. You're right. If we do no
All
work
right,
at all.
as I said,
Depends what day you can have a chicken soup.
as I said, that's going to take that did indeed take us a while. I thought it would.
Just check your iPhone.
Let's keep moving. How are we doing? Let's try and finish the chapter today. So here we. Thank you, Mills. Tani Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai, Amra Shabbat lifnei Hakodesh Baruch Hu. Ribono shel Olam lechulam yesh ben zug v'li ein ben zug. So Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai said, Shabbat came before the Holy Blessed One and said, Ribono shel Olam, Master of the world, everything has a ben zug. V'li ein ben zug. But me, I don't have a ben zug. Amar la HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Knesset Yisrael. Well done, Jane. He ben zugech. The community of Israel is your partner. V'kivan she'amdu Yisrael lifnei Har Sinai. And when Israel was stood before Mount Sinai, Amar lahem HaKadosh Baruch Hu, God said to them, Zichru hadavar she'amarti l'Shabbat. Knesset Yisrael he ben zug. Do you remember the thing that I said to Shabbat, that the people of Israel, the community of Israel, would be your partner? Heinu dibur. This is this thing which it says, Zachor et Yom HaShabbat l'kadsho. Does anyone recognize Zachor et Yom HaShabbat l'kadsho?
Yes.
10 Commandments.
10 Commandments.
Yeah.
So when God said Zachor et Yom HaShabbat l'kadsho, and the biblical academics would say this idea that Zachor doesn't mean the intellectual state of remembrance. It means act in such a way as to give meaning to the fact that you are making a thing of this. In other words, light a candle. The Midrash goes, Zachor, it must mean that God said to the children of Israel, do you remember this thing that happened earlier on? What's the thing that happened earlier on? God said to Knesset Yisrael, Knesset Yisrael will be your... Sorry, God said to Shabbos, Knesset Yisrael will be your Ben Zug. So that this is sort of one of these things where you literally read a biblical verb to be entirely literal. Nice little midrash. I like that one. Rabbi Levi b'shem Rabbi Chama bar Chanina Amar Shlosha briot haya HaKadosh Baruch Hu bara b'chol yom v'yom. This midrash I found boring. Rabbi Levi, in the name of Rabbi Chama, the son of Chanina, said 3 things were created on each yom v'yom, on each and every day. B'echad bara shemayim v'aretz v'ora. On the first day, God created the heavens and the earth and the light. It just depends how you count them. You could do this any one of a number of different ways. Babet, on the second day of creation, Rakia v'gehinom u'malachim, the firmament, hell and the angels. V'gimel, ilonot v'desaim v'gan Eden. On the third day, trees and grasses and the Garden of Eden. B'dalet, chama ulvana u'mazalot, the sun and the moon and the stars. B'chamisha, ofot v'dagim v'leviatan. On the 5th day of the week, birds and fish and one monster. It says, God connected.
The
Well,
Leviathan.
it doesn't say that. It says, the monsters of the deep, right? It's entirely false. And I think it lacks class. This midrash. B'vav, on Friday, Adam v'Chava uramasim. Adam and Eve and Ramasim. What's Ramasim? I'm sorry I didn't pull this up from Jastro for you, but if you go down to the comment at the bottom of that, the big paragraph there, Ramashim, Kol Chaya Ubahima Nivru Bo. Those are all the wild animals and cows.
This rabbi is the angels were created on the second day. Man. We had this discussion in the beginning about whether it was the second day or the 5th day.
Very good. Yeah.
And we didn't come to a conclusion about it.
It would be interesting to look that up. Yep. I mean, I just think this is not a very highly worked midrash. Amar Rabbi Pinchas, Bevav Barash Shisha, that on Erev Shabbos 6 things were created: Adam v'Chava v'Remes u'Bahima v'Chaya Mri'im. On the 6th day, Adam and Eve and the Remes, the creepy crawly animals, and the cattle and the wild animals, and the Mri'im are the Shadim, are the demonic figures. It says here in the commentary, which is kind of cute, that God made them on the 6th day and made their souls on the 6th day and was going to kind of give them bodies, but ran out of time. So they are left to roam the world unembodied.
Zombies.
No, inverse of zombies. Shading. Amar Rabbi Benaya, Asher bara Elohim v'osa ein kativ kan. It doesn't say that on the 6th day, on the 7th day, God rested from everything that God made and will make. Rather, Asher bara Elohim la'asot. Sorry, it didn't say that God rested from everything that God had created, but God rested from everything that God will create. In other words, that nothing new will be created after the first 6 days of creation. This is quite a well-known midrashic trop. There are all these various things that need to be explained as having been created on Erev Shabbat, like the mouth that swallowed Korach from a couple of weeks ago.
It's the ethics of the fathers.
Exactly. Right, because everything, because it says here, Asher bara Elohim la'asot, God rested from everything that God was going to create in the future. In other words, everything already needs to be created. Maimonides, with his kind of Aristotelian kind of perspective, is very keen on this. He likes the idea that the essence of the thing is kind of rendered before the reality of the thing. And again, we did that when we were way back in the beginning of the story of creation. Kol ma shehaya HaKadosh Baruch Hu atid livraot b'zayin hikdim v'raot b'vav. So anything which God was going to go on in the future and create on the 7th day or subsequently, God brought forward and made it on Erev Shabbat. As I said, boring midrash. Rabbi Pinchas b'shem Rabbi Hoshaya Amar, Af al gav da'at Amar, Ki vo Shabbat mikol melachto. Mimlechet olamo Shabbat. Sorry, Mimlechet olamo Shabbat. V'lo Shabbat lo Mimlechet Rasha'im. V'lo Mimlechet Tzadikim. Rabbi Pinchas, in the name of Rabbi Hoshaya, said that even though it says that God rests from all God's malacha, Kivo Shabbat mikol melachto. Malacha is the name for Shabbat, inappropriate work. That's talking about Mimlechet olamo. That's talking about the kind of malacha that happens in this world. From that God rested, but God didn't rest from the mamlechet of the wicked and from the mamlechet of the tzaddikim. God's still working on Shabbos. Ela po'el im elu ve'im elu mar'ei le'elu ma'ein dugma geturin shelahem u'le'elu ma'in dugma getarin shelahem. So on Shabbos, what is God doing? God is po'el. Po'el means to work with these and with these, and shows them a glimpse of their future, and shows them a glimpse of their future. So if you are a really good person on Shabbos, you get a kind of glimpse of paradise, and if you are a wicked person, you get a glimpse of your hell on Shabbos. The glimpse of a perfection on Shabbos I sometimes kind of get, right, on a really nice Shabbos where you just, if you feel like you're completely there, you go, yeah, this is just great. I'm sad I haven't had the other one, which is either a sign of my extreme perfection, or I don't know, something else. So now we need to prove something. Minayin shepuranyutan shel rishaim kruya malacha. How do we know that the punishment of the wicked is called malacha? So we haven't really, the word malacha is a very difficult word to translate. It always gets translated as work, but how come it's okay to run up and down the stairs of your house carrying, £100 worth of potatoes, but it's not. That's not malacha. But to walk outside carrying one potato is malacha. It's a very difficult word. But now we've got this whole new thing about malacha, that the wickedness of the actions of the wicked is now called a malacha, whether or not it's done on Shabbat or on any other time, because of the verse. And I think I've given you the verse on the other handout from Jeremiah. Patach Adonai et artso v'yotzi et kol za'amo ki malacha he. That's a perfectly good. Oh, I gave you. Sorry, I hadn't handed that out. I got that. I just gave you a little bit about the shading at the top as well. Right. So how do we know that the punishment of the wicked is called a malacha? Verse from Jeremiah: God has opened his armory and has brought forth the weapons of his indignation. Ki malacha hi ladunai. Elohim tzvaot, because it is a malacha of God to, right? So what's God taken out his weapons to do? Punish the wicked, and that now gets called a malacha. So the punishment of the wicked is definitely a malacha, but not a malacha shel olam, but a malacha of the heavens, which God does on Shabbos.
Is that how he's defining work?
No, that is a proof verse that God's punishment of the wicked
right.
gets called a malacha.
Yeah.
Yes, I thought it was referring to what the wicked were doing was called malacha.
No, the Peraniot
is
what God does to them. Yeah. And now, minayin scharan shel tzadikim kruya malacha. How do we prove that the reward of the righteous is called a malacha? Shne'emar. Now this is a little bit wobbly. This is a verse in the Amalei Rachamim that you say at a funeral. Marav tuvcha asher tzefanta l'reacha. How great is the reward which you bind up for those who have awe of you, who fear you. Palta lochosim bach. It is the pu'ula. And we had that word pu'ul. Can you see it? It's 1, 2, 3, 4 lines down. Second word in. We've slightly kind of solved the problem for us. The problem is that this verse doesn't say malacha. So how do you know that the reward of the righteous is a malacha? I haven't got that verse, but I have got a verse that says that it is the pu'ula, that that it is their work or their actions. So it's a little bit of a cheat, and they slightly give themselves that wiggle room by saying on that fourth line down, Ela po'el im elu ve'im elu, that God is po'el im elu ve'im elu, that God is acting with those and with those. And with that, we finish chapter 11. Thank you very much. Ah, yes, whole new chapter.